a mom, there's no greater joy. I mean, there's no greater joy in knowing that your son is in remission and continues to do well and to thrive. And it was a moment to reflect on how far we've come, and also just to look forward with hope and anticipation for everything that's in store for James.
It was really awesome because he was really taking it easy on me, so that was really fun.
Obviously, having kids kind of changes your perspective on everything, and what a great spirit he has. I don't think he took his smile off his face, and it was a lot of fun for us as well to be out there with him.
It was September 26th, 2005. My phone rang, and I heard the words that would change our lives forever. Your son has cancer. James had celebrated his second birthday at the end of August, and a few weeks after that, he didn't quite seem like himself. His lack of energy, lack of appetite, coupled with his swollen lymph nodes, led me instinctually to take him to the pediatrician. The order for blood was written, and a follow-up call promised for the next day. We headed home, picked up his older brother Daniel at school. I was upstairs when the phone rang, and I looked down at the caller ID, saw the doctor's office, and my heart sank. I answered the phone, and the doctor's voice on the other end said, "James's blood work is incredibly abnormal. He has leukemia." I was standing to take the call, and when I heard the news, felt my knees begin to buckle, and I reached for the side of the bed for support. I said, "No, you don't understand. I just found out I'm pregnant. This can't be happening." Her instructions followed. Pack your bags, find someone to take Daniel, get in the car, go to the hospital immediately. We arrived at the hospital and heard acute lymphocytic leukemia, high risk, precursor B, white blood cell count of 74,000. We had just been hit by a tidal wave. I did not stop crying for 4 days. I tried to fight back the tears, but the harder I fought, the more they fell. I was in mourning. I was in mourning for James, for the loss of his childhood, for the eventual loss of his flying blonde baby hair, and for the loss of a life our family once knew. We met Dr. Goodell a few days into our hospital stay. He calmly and patiently answered all of our questions, and he concluded his time with us with words that I would cling to on some of my darker days. He looked us straight in the eye, and he said, "You know what, guys? He's going to be okay." We had our first glimmer of hope. The reality of the next 3.5 years of our lives being overshadowed by cancer and chemotherapy began to settle in. James wasn't able to swallow the oral medication, so it had to be crushed up to be administered. And it was vile tasting stuff with an aftertaste you just couldn't get rid of. So we mixed it with some applesauce, but he resisted opening his mouth. So he put it on a spatula, slid it in, and scraped the medication on the roof of his mouth. One morning, spatula in hand, James looked at me and he said, "Mommy, please, no more, no more." We were 2 weeks in. It was going to be a long road. We started finding traces of his hair on his pillowcase, and the color drained from his face. His mood swings brought on by the medication took a toll on everyone. He didn't leave the house much in the months ahead. He just didn't have the strength, and his immunity was compromised so much of the time that we didn't want to risk any type of infection. A fever sent us to the hospital for 3 days, and weekly doctor visits sometimes resulted in 6-hour blood transfusions. In May of 2006, nearing the end of 8 months of the most intense treatment, we welcomed our third child, Peter. His birth brought the joy to our lives that had been missing: a new baby, a celebration, and a welcome distraction from the battle that we had been fighting. James felt instantly in love with his baby brother. Today, however, he'd probably trade him for a baby sister, but that's another story. Soon, he started to regain his strength and his hair started to grow back. Daniel was outside hitting wiffle balls with his dad, and James seemed interested in giving it a try. First pitch, and the ball sailed into our neighbor's backyard. And one after that, and another one after that. For a boy who had struggled to talk, walk, and even eat sometimes, it was such a joy for us as parents to see him embrace a sport and do it so effortlessly. Little did we know then what a big part of James's life sports would become. It gave us hope that maybe cancer wouldn't take everything. His treatment concludes in January of 2009. That spring, we step out of the shadows of cancer. James plays baseball and goes on to be selected for several all-star teams. He finds He finds a niche for himself at pitcher. He starts striking batters out and realizes, hey, I can do this. We build an ice rink, a hockey rink in our backyard, and as he takes to the ice, we see his confidence begin to grow. After the Blackhawks win the Stanley Cup in 2010, James becomes obsessed with any information about the team he can get his hands on. Dad, do you know that Brian Bickle is the heaviest player on the Blackhawks? He's 10 pounds heavier than Brandon Bowleg. But it wasn't until one Saturday morning, sitting at our kitchen table, sorting through a stack of hockey cards, that James said, Dad, I could skate with the Blackhawks. And so it began. In April 2013, Make-A-Wish grants his wish to skate with the Hawks during one of their practices at Johnny's Ice House. We arrive at the rink, and James is ushered into the locker room to get dressed. He waits at the door until he's invited onto the ice. All of the players and all of the coaches are on the ice, with Corey Crawford in one goal and Ray Emery in the other, and the guys are working on shootouts. And James is the last to shoot on Corey Crawford. He moves in, takes his shot, and scores. And as if he had just scored the winning goal in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, all of the players, all of the coaches come swarming in, engulfing him with high fives and fist bumps. At that moment, James was a Chicago Blackhawk. I watch from behind my camera lens with tears rolling down my face. Reflecting as a mom at that moment, I'm reminded that although cancer may have robbed James of a portion of his childhood, and the long-term effects of the chemotherapy will be a battle he will continue to face, cancer doesn't win. Not here, cancer. Not today. Today, James wins. The team welcomed James and his brothers into the locker room, signing sticks, allowing them to try on equipment, making them feel a part of the team. It was James's wish to skate with the Blackhawks, but the team made a conscious effort to include his brothers as well, knowing that cancer wasn't a journey that just James took, but Daniel and Peter did too. Unfortunately, I was not allowed in the locker room. Still a little bitter about that, but I'll get over it. But I'd like to let you in on a little secret. Our big and burly, rough and tumble Blackhawks, they all have hearts of gold. And that captain of ours, Captain Sirius, mature beyond his years and has an unbelievable way of connecting with kids. I'm pretty sure that by the end of practice, James was hoping that Jonathan Taves was going to take him home with him. On April 11th of 2013, Make-A-Wish and the Chicago Blackhawks made a little boy's dream come true. For us, the wish came at the end of our journey, an exclamation mark of sorts. But as I began to reflect more on our experience that day, I began to wonder what a wish does for a child who's in the middle of treatment, or one who maybe has been only given months to live. What does it do for these families? A wish brings hope. Hope to families who have been devastated by an unthinkable illness. Hope in the midst of a bleak diagnosis. Hope that they can enjoy a special memory that may be their last. Hope that brings a smile to a child's face when they get to meet their hero. And the beautiful thing about a wish is that it doesn't just bring hope for one day or 1 week, it brings hope for a lifetime. James, in fact, just the other day came to me and he said, "Mom, tomorrow's April 14th, right?" I agreed, and he went on to say, "Mom, tomorrow it will be 1 year and 3 days since my wish." That date will be etched on his heart forever. That is the power of a wish. It continues on long after the wish has been granted. It's a rebirth, a renewal of sorts for these kids fighting life-threatening illnesses. It gives them that strength and that courage to say, "I can do this, and I will." This evening, we'd like to express our gratitude to the doctors and nurses at Lutheran General Children's Hospital. Thank you for caring for James as if he were your own. You will always be like family to us. Thank you to the Blackhawks players, coaches, and the entire organization for giving our family a day we will never forget. To Jonathan Taves's parents, thank you for raising a wonderful young man, a hero that anyone would be proud to have their son look up to. Thank you to the Make-A-Wish staff and the entire army of volunteers who work to grant wishes and make an evening like tonight possible. These people work tirelessly behind the scenes, dedicating themselves to serving children and families. My final thank you is to you. I stand in gratitude on behalf of all of the Make-A-Wish families. To those families who've had their wishes granted, those waiting for wishes to be granted, and those families who will be hit with a tidal wave of their own when their child is diagnosed with a life-threatening illness this year. And so, our family's journey brings us here to Soldier Field. And I've been honored to share our story with you and what the power of a wish has meant to us. And tonight, all of you here have the incredible opportunity of not only granting children's wishes, but bestowing on them and their families the precious gift of hope.
Hey James, it's your buddy Jonathan here in the Chicago Blackhawks locker room. Just wanted to say hey and congratulations on becoming an ambassador for the Make-A-Wish. It's a great honor, and again, we're thinking about you here and want to thank you for your inspiration that you've given to our team, and hopefully we keep working hard. We'll keep thinking about you as we go through the playoffs. So have a great night, and sorry I couldn't be there.